Hello guys and welcome to a new episode of Sound Design Monday. Today we are going to be creating two leads that are going to be layered together. This is going to be the lead from Dear Boy from Avicii. One of them is pretty much identical to the top lead. The other one is a little bit off, but it was the best I could do. These are the ways, this is how they're going to sound. Okay, so first lead is the one that really sounds identical to the top layer. And then we got another layer that I feel like it's missing something. It sounds similar to it, but it's not quite there yet. Okay, so that's the other layer. Avicii likes to use a lot of these type of sounds, so we're gonna be creating that. And the first one is gonna be pretty much a super saw. Pretty much not that many voices, so it should be really simple sound to make. So let's get started with it. So I had to make it in Sylenth 1. I mean, the reason for it, come on, Avicii, all he uses is Sylenth 1, I think, when it comes to synthesizers, and I think he got really famous with him using presets, and also I wouldn't be surprised if these presets were lying around somewhere. I actually did try to find them though, but I couldn't find them. I don't know where he got them from, but there really is a good sound, good melody, and that's what makes the track. So let's create the first lead. Okay, so first off, we're gonna increase polyphony to 10 since it's a super saw, but it's not really like a super saw. I'm just saying it is because it's the same format except just the voices are lowered a bit. Part A, we're going to have 6 voices with detunement at 3.52. No phase, stereo all the way up. No panning, octave up. And the retrig is off. Attack is at 0.05. Default, decay, default, sustain, default, and release should be like that by default. Next, we're going to oscillator A2 where we'll have another up an octave saw with 4 voices, and we'll detune at 3.95. And this one is at 3.52, so 3.95, just change it a bit. Stereo again all the way up, no reason to put it down, and retrig off on this as well. We're going to put input select A, B, and we're going to route oscillator A and oscillator B to filter A with a low pass at 24 dB. We're going to leave it at the center, no resonance, a little bit of drive, 0.62. The max filter control, we're going to put it all the way to the right and the resonance all the way down, and the key track's going to open up the filter at 1.43. I've explained what key track is before, but it's just a cool way of just saying it's like the higher it goes, the more it's going to open up, and you just put it up whenever you want. So, like if I were to put this down, and let's solo this. No key track, and we'll put the key track up. So you can see what happens. Now let's put the filter back. Nothing happens, so we just leave it up there in case you're going to be lowering the filter, which I hope you are. Doing some automation. So that's all the key track does. That's a perfect example of what it does, and it's just there for your convenience. Okay, so we're gonna go into part B. Let's take the solo off. So we're gonna go into part B where we're gonna be having oscillator B1 with white noise at one voice, the volume at 0.81. I've explained why it's always at 0. Retrig on, and then this one's gonna be a little bit different for the amp envelope. So we're gonna have a fast attack like the first one, but then we're going to lower decay to 3.10 and sustain to 6.44 and our release at 1.08. We're going to have another saw with 8 voices now, detunement at 5.33 and an octave up. No filter for this side, but just for the hell of it, let's put one, and let's just turn it all the way to the right, and my phone just fell. Okay, so let's just do that, and then we'll have a filter, and it should be kind of cool. We're going to go into envelope 1 now, where we're going to be routing it to cut off AB by 8.48. Let's just put it all the way up. No need to have it there. Attack at 0, decay at 2.99, sustain at 3.45, and release all the way down. So once we have that, we're almost done with the sound. We're just going to apply a phaser at 15.24. Oh, sorry, we do add some phase to oscillator B2 here at 61.71 degrees, so fucking forgot that. And we do lower the volume to 5.81. I'm losing it. Okay, so we go into phaser. We're going to put a dry on wet at 15.24 center frequency sent at the center, spread at the center, all are offset at center, width all the way, of course. LFO rate 8 to 1D. LFO gain 0 and no feedback. Next we're going to the EQ where we have a 1-pole EQ. We're going to have the bass at 7.50 dB bass frequency. So we're not moving these knobs, and we're going to turn the treble up a bit at the frequency of 4553. Next we're going to put some delay with ping pong on. The left delay is going to be 1/8. The delay time to the right is 1/4. We're going to do a low cut at 17.99 and a high cut at 81.48 hertz. So both of these are just at 9 o'clock. We're not going to smear it. We're going to spread it by 50. So if you want it more wide, you just turn it all the way. Feedback at 41.90 and our width is at 50. Next we go into our reverb, another important part. I've explained what reverbs do, all the parameters. If you don't know, you can go watch, I believe, my supercell tutorial where I talked about every little reverb thing, every little parameter. So we have a dry and wet at 45%, size at 4.40, pre-delay at 12, dampness all the way down and width all the way up. So we're gonna lower mix B a bit at 1.26. Let's just amp it up a little to 1.72. Mix A at 7.36, and we should be getting the sound. And lower your main volume by 4.02, and we should be getting. Okay, now we're gonna create the hard one, which is really the simple. It sounds really simple, but it's actually the hard one, and I feel like this is Avicii's signature sound. I mean, he's used it in most of his tracks, to be honest. And the thing that's hard about and the things that's hard about this sound is just the programming of it is what kind of makes it different. And today we're going to be learning that kind of effect that when you hold down a note that you've heard in the track Tsunami by Merck and Cremont. You've heard a lot in Avicii tracks as well. I think he made it famous in that track, I Could Be the One. So we're going to be creating that sound. So that's his signature sound in my eyes. So what we're going to do is for part A, we're going to have a square wave. Like I've said, squares are really melodic and they just give you that sound, and Avicii uses the shit out of them. I feel like they're really underused and they should be used more. But the problem with squares is they're not really rough unless you distort them. So that's the problem with them. So volume's going to be all the way up. Retrig on, a pulse, which is a square. One voice, no detunement, stereo, and that's it. Sustain all the way up. Attack at 0.05, decay all the way down, and release at 0.44, so a little bit. And we'll put a sine wave at 2 voices with the retrig on, and we're going to put the phase at 51.43. No filter for this. And pretty much the key to the sound, and it's really a simple one, but it's hard in the sense that, that you have to do this. And if you don't know what the hell LFO rate or gain and pitch AB and so forth is, then you won't get it. So what we're going to do is we're going to be putting for the first one, we're going to put an LFO 1 rate, second one an LFO 1 gain. So pretty much what's going to happen here is we are going to be targeting the LFO 1. The rate of it is going to go up. So it's going to move up to 164 or 1 over 254. And the gain is going to move up as well. So what that's going to do is it's going to increase the pitch, kind of like the pitch moving. Like I've stated before, when we route something with an LFO, it keeps going, it doesn't stop. But with an envelope, you hold it, it does its sequence AESR, and then it stops. So you'll hear it right now. So what we're going to do is put our attack at 8.16. So this is how long it's going to take before it kicks in. So whenever you hold down a note, like if you hear I Could Be the One or Tsunami, you'll hear them hold down a note and all of a sudden you get that effect. Okay, so we have 8.16, decay at 6.09, and a sustain all the way down so it goes back to normal. And release, there's no release. So what's going to happen, it's going to take this long for this effect to kick in. And then your decay is going to decide how long it stays before it goes and returns back to normal. So here we're going to have LFO 1 rate, LFO gain. We're going to turn the knobs by 5.33 and the bottom LFO gain at 4.76. And then we're going to go into here. We're going to put a pitch AB, the rate at 132D with the gain at 1.10 and no offset. So we're going to put the black knob at 0.29. So we're going to move it just a little bit. As always, it's good to have very little. When you're LFOing a pitch, you generally don't do much because it kind of gives that sound and you can't get a melody out of that. There's no harmony to it. You just hear the pitch going up and down. So you add a little bit and you do it at a fast rate, so it happens really fast where you can't even notice it, but it gives that effect. So now if I were to hold down a note, and let's see, higher one, you're gonna hear it. So you get that effect. Okay. Also, there's another way of doing it where you apply it to the phase of each knob, and it gives that effect way better. But for this sound, it doesn't really do it that much, so it's best just to go with a pitch AB and give it that little bit of the effect, but not the whole amount like you hear it in Tsunami. So once you have this, we're just gonna apply some reverb to the sound at 52.86%, pre-delay at 100.95, dampness 0, size of the reverb at 2.45, and the width all the way up. So once we have that, you have both sounds. You're gonna have the MIDI and just play it. Make sure to subscribe to Sylenth's World and like my Facebook page. Alright guys, so that's a tutorial. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the sound. Hopefully you guys can make, kind of change from making big room to more shit like Avicii progressive stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much the tutorial. Make sure to like my Facebook page at Sylenth's World. Make sure to like the podcast page at EOS Podcast at Facebook. So facebook.com/EOS Podcast. I'll put it in the description. These presets will be up on my Facebook by tomorrow. I have to study for physics test, so I blew that off to make this video for you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. As always, thanks to the guy who really recommended it. He kind of linked it to me like a couple of times, so I was like, okay, I'll make it. So if you guys want to sound me, just send it to me, and I guess if I like it, I'll end up doing it. I mean, a lot of times I get a lot of your sounds, like your requests, but the thing is that if I'm not feeling the sound, I can't really make it because this is fun for me. And if it's not gonna be something I enjoy doing, then I usually don't make it. Or if it's something I've made in the past, and I just go, okay, well, just check out my other videos. Anyways, guys, that's it. See you guys next.